Another matter today, Senator Harry Reid showing great resolve and the kind of proactivity he had rarely exhibited in 2 years of majority leadership during the Bush administration by promising to stand up to Barack Obama. In an interview with the newspaper The Hill, the senator said it will be essential for Democrats to work with Republicans in the new Congress and to avoid overreaching and rubber stamping the president-elect's policies. Quote, if Obama steps over the bounds, I will tell him I do not work for Barack Obama, I work with him. Let's turn now to Chris Hayes, the Washington editor of The Nation magazine. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Keith.
I don't work for Barack Obama. I'm hoping that that's some kind of preemptive shot against a charge that Senator Reid would be leading a rubber stamp Senate. But I'm also thinking I may be incredibly naive.
Well, let's hope it is. I mean, I think that he's right insofar as one of the great sins of the Republican Congress under Bush, and indeed of the entire conservative movement, was converting themselves into this bizarre cult of personality around President George W. Bush. And one of the mistakes I think that progressives in general and the Democratic Congress needs to not to repeat is to go ahead and be oppositional when it's called for, and to preserve the separation of powers. All that said, it was a strange kind of note to strike given where we are right now in terms of the calendar year.
Yeah, what is this don't tread on me attitude from the majority leader? I mean, did he not get the message last fall that the presidency went to the Democrats largely because a vast majority of the country felt, look, we need people in there to clean up this past presidency, and that there may be some sort of limited time frame in which the cleaning up can be done, and there's really not time to argue over whether or not there's an autograph on a particular piece of paper when the thing is going to end up one way and not the other.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think particularly the overreach line was really, really strange. I mean, that is not the fear of the American people right now. The fear of the American populace, and it's hard to generalize about a nation of 300 million, but I think the majority of Americans are concerned about avoiding a Great Depression. They're not concerned about overreach. And so for him to come out and strike this note of overreach just shows a kind of bizarre caution in the midst of something that doesn't call for caution. It calls for boldness. And I think that in Harry Reid's defense, I think what we might be seeing is a difference between the political environment in his home state of Nevada and the political environment in the country at large.
But, all right, but does that explain when Senator Feinstein, as outgoing chair of the Rules Committee, broke with the Democrats earlier in the week, said she believes that the Burris appointment was legal, he should be seated? Senator Reid responded, it is not a legal appointment, and he cited the Senate rule. I'm a little flustered by this because it seems to me that if you equate a law with a procedural rule from Congress, it sounds a little, Nixonian. If the president does it, then it's not illegal.
Yeah, look, the question is, what is the principle here? And I honestly cannot see what Harry Reid's answer to that question is. What is the principle at stake in seating Roland Burris? If there is an allegation or a suspicion that Roland Burris himself purchased the appointment, then they have a case. But no one is alleging that. No one believes that to be the case. And so they have to make some case about what actually the principle at stake is. They can't just hand wave about the taint of scandal. They actually have to say how Roland Burris himself is implicated in that, and so far they've completely failed to do that.
And the last point here, to top it all off, the senator said that today he was going to lead the Democrats until 2015, at least. Is there anybody around him to tell him that if there are rifts with the White House over trivia, as you pointed out, particularly at this time, that he might not be the one who decides how long he's going to be majority leader?
Yeah, I mean, that really smacks of some hubris. I mean, 2015 is a long way away. I think there are people in the, and Harry Reid has a job that I don't think I would ever want, and I can't imagine anyone would ever want. So give that to him. But the fact of the matter is, Theodore Roosevelt once said, you speak softly and carry a big stick. And the MO of Harry Reid has been to talk a lot of smack and then capitulate. And at a certain point, you wonder if the caucus is going to start getting more and more restless with that kind of MO, and something sort of happens among the leadership.
Or to capitulate when he should be fighting, and now to fight when perhaps he should, for a week or two, capitulate.
Right.
Chris Hayes of The Nation, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Keith.